What if you knew how much time was left? Time left in what, you might ask? Well, anything. How much time before you finally finish that big project you've been working on? How much time before you settle down and get married? How much time before you think that you've hit it big in your career? How much time that Uber Eats or DoorDash order will actually show up? When you wake up in the dead of night, half asleep, struggling to find out how much time you have left to sleep before you have to get up. The wonders and mysteries of life can always revolve and find its way back to time. And what if you knew how much time you had before it ended, before it all ended? How would you spend the passing moments, and how would knowing the time left change your ways of thinking? Time is everything, and it is one of my greatest friends and enemies. So thank you for being here as I explore the mystery of time today on Clean's Chats. Welcome, everybody. How y'all doing today? It's good to be back for another episode of Clean's Chats. It feels good. And wow, not a big break for this one. You see, I think this is what happens. Well, first off, I'm in the field, and also I haven't really had much, I've had a lot of free time. But specifically, I'm in that mood, and I think this happens every year because I do my end of the year tweet, and because I like to think about just how I am and how I've been doing and how life has changed. Like around this time period, like late November and December, I just start to think. I just start to think a lot. This is my reflection time period where I reflect back on the year, just make sure what did I do, how did I improve myself, what can I improve on. It's just always so much to think about. But obviously, I don't want to constantly be, reflecting, because as I stated in previous episodes, I don't want to waste time reflecting back in the past. I want to go up in the future. I want to do some amazing things. So I want to, go out there. So it's kind of my time to just kind of make sure, a little checkup with myself. And, obviously you should always do that. You should always just, to yourself, have a little checkup. How you doing? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Oh, thanks for asking. So that's pretty much, how I like to think. And then when I get to think, stuff is rolling. And now here we are with another episode very quickly after. But this one actually had some interesting scenarios surrounding it, because I didn't really know it was going to be an episode. You see, yes, I have my list of possible topics, yet they all seem to revolve around just the general sense of time, right? I had the one where I have time to experience things last episode. And sometimes I don't have time to prepare, but sometimes that is in itself the best thing to do, to not have time to prepare and just go in. I had a lot of time in quarantine and spent a lot of things. Maybe I didn't spend it all too crazy, but I, went ahead and went for it. I had time to build up these friendships that I've been, so grateful for over the years. And just as you're watching this video and listening to me, time is passing. It's weird, right? Time, Gosh, you're going to hear that a lot. I'm sorry. And this might be a little bit of an existential video. If you're not looking to have a crisis right now, I guess maybe you don't have to be here. But hey, we're getting some deep topics in here, so, get ready. But it's crazy, right? Time isn't just the seconds, right? Because we made those up, right? We made up the seconds, the minutes, the hours, the days, our calendar. We made up all that just to track time. But time in itself is just a thing that is always moving forward, one direction. We can't go back. We only go forward. And it's weird to think about, but we're not in the present. What you see is not the present, because it takes time for your eyes to render what you're actually seeing. So you're actually seeing, I forget what the math was, probably a Vsauce video. Well, honestly, heck, a lot of this is inspired by Vsauce because I just love watching his stuff. But like, we see stuff like probably, I think, a few nanoseconds in the past. Isn't that weird? So it's very weird. If you think about it too hard, too long, you might go crazy. But there's a lot of times I just sit here. I'm like, the time's going by. The seconds are going by. Every second is an opportunity for me to do something crazy or do something awesome. And like, I don't want to get, I don't really know how to slowly edge into a topic like this. This isn't like those other ones. This is where I don't know how much time I have left. You just kind of have to go out and say it, and that's really crazy. But sometimes you just got to keep going, keep living, Because if you are living every day in fear that you don't know when your last day is, you're never going to live. You're never going to truly experience life because you're just be too scared all the time, So it's just something crazy. And I've had a few I'm not going to say experiences. That was last episode. I've had a few things this year that reminded me a lot about this aspect of time. And how we just simply have to enjoy it and seize every moment. So, first I'll talk about the more recent one, I think. So, if you guys don't know, and haven't been around me maybe the last week or two, I was closely following this channel called Unus Honest. This channel means 1 year in Latin. And now Zach's gonna be like, oh man, Zach's such a fanboy. I'm hearing the comments, right? I'm hearing the thoughts, right? I get it. But you don't have to like Markiplier at all. You don't have to like his content at all. You didn't have to watch this channel at all to understand the message. They set out to create a channel and just start uploading videos every day, a different video, doing something, crazy or as original and unique as they can. But there was a catch. It was 1 year, and at the end of this year, at the end of 365 days of that channel, it would not just stop making videos; it would get entirely deleted. And that they really put this perspective that time may be long, but it's going to keep moving. Time is going to keep going whether we like to or not. And what is there to do besides seize every moment we have and continue to push our boundaries to just keep doing amazing stuff? Like, there's just so many times where people are, scared to do something. But, it's okay to be hesitant at first, but, time is ticking. Always. When we sleep, I don't know what the percentage is, but a good chunk of the time that we live is spent asleep, not even doing anything. That's kind of crazy in itself too, isn't it? So, what are we doing with time? What is time for? At this point, I'm kind of shooting out questions, kind of like I did in the beginning intro. I don't know how much time I have before I'll get married. I don't even know how old I'll be. Sometimes I don't know when my freaking McDonald's meal from UberEats will show up. Sometimes it's a lot quicker than I think. And that time about that part when I talked about waking up, that's such a weird moment, right? You wake up. let's say you were sick. This is a classic. You're sick. Sick at home. Obviously not COVID. This is, back in the day when we only had stuff like pneumonia. Well, okay, that's still pretty bad. But I did have pneumonia in 3rd grade. And I had a good chunk of nights where I was just fast asleep on the couch. And then I'd wake up. Everything's dark. There's no sun outside. Like, I can barely see anything. I feel like I don't even exist right now. I feel like I'm just like not here, but I can feel. I can I can sense that I am there. And I'm just like, what time is it? That's always the first question. It's always, what time is it? Oh my gosh. Is it like midnight? Is it 3 a.m.? Is it next year? No, it's only like 7 o'clock, like 7 p.m. Like, are you good? Every time. Why do we do that? It's so weird, right? We get, like, if we don't have, it's as if, like, if we don't have that grasp on time and knowing when, we totally lose it, right? We totally lose everything. And time is, like, we use time for everything. We schedule meetings, we schedule ourselves for work, we have a bedtime. We just recently went through a daylight savings for America, where our clocks were shifted back, and that's in itself a weird thing. Every year when the clocks get shifted back, every American, besides like Arizona, is always like, whoa, why is it so dark? It's like 5 p.m. It's like, bro, that's just how it works. Daylight savings is a little weird. I wouldn't mind getting rid of it, honestly. But everyone's like, man, don't you love that, like, satisfaction of getting hour go back? Yeah, but you have to have an hour go forward in March, and that doesn't feel great. I lose an hour of sleep. Come on now. So it's so weird that we always seem to need a grasp on time, yet we don't fully understand it. All we know that it is what we use to live, and we just keep moving forward with it. And let's go ahead and say why it is my greatest enemy. I always feel like I never have enough time. Yet there's so much time. Is there? I don't know. That's the thing, we don't know. I always say to myself, there's, I have time to do this, time to do that. Oh, I have another time I can get that done. But I don't know, do I? I truly don't know. We don't know when, it'll end. This is where it gets a little existential, but I don't know when my time is up. I don't know. I don't really know what that means, when my time is up, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Everyone has their things. Everyone can, reason and think and believe what they want to believe. But truly, no one really knows. That's kind of scary. But all you have to do is just keep living and keep going, I think that's kind of the beautiful thing about it. We just kind of keep going for it. This YouTube channel was just all about how they knew how much time was left. And they didn't spend time worrying about the channel ending and worrying about, oh gosh, we don't have time to do all these amazing videos. They just kept going and kept making videos. And every day they started the video with the timer. Start and end of every video had the timer, so you knew exactly how much time was left. But you kept just enjoying the videos and you kept going. And it all built up to the one moment before it got deleted. And that moment, it felt like time stopped before it got deleted. It felt like everything was slowed down. And isn't that weird too? I always feel like time, we have built time to be a standard unit. 1 second is kind of the main one. Boom, like 3 seconds just went by. But like, why does it always feel like when I'm in class, time is really slow, and when I'm on vacation, time is really fast? Yet the same amount of time or units of time has gone by. It hasn't gone faster. Time isn't getting faster. What does that mean? What does that mean? Right? I don't know. So that channel was awesome. I really loved it. I do really enjoy Markiplier. I really liked Ethan as well. I'll hopefully continue watching Ethan because he's pretty funny. But it still was crazy to think that, they were given a year and they put it all. They did it all. They put it all on the line. They went all in. Said to themselves, everything's gonna be deleted, but why not continue going all in, because it'll pay off when it's all over. You look back before it's all deleted and you see what you've done in life, and that's when you say, wow, I did a pretty awesome job here. And that's the same way that everyone in life wants to approach it when they reach their end, when their time is up. Before their time's up, they look back on everything that they've done in life and they say to themselves, I did a pretty damn good job here. And that is the moment that everyone is secretly building up to. You never really mention it, but like, everyone wants that, right? Everyone wants that moment right before their time's up where they say, wow, I'm glad I was here, and I'm glad I did what I've done. And that's really awesome. And, maybe that's not what you live for. Obviously, you want to, you live for a great job. You want to get married. You want to have kids. So then they can continue this, to experience these things of time and, being successful, and obviously successful is, your own definition of it, but also like feeling accomplished in life. That is everything, isn't it? It truly is. I had a friend actually just recently. We're doing deep kind of stories, tough talk, and he had a brain tumor, but he didn't know at the time that it was probably like the weakest brain tumor that he could have had. But he didn't know that for, I believe, maybe a day or two, I think. Yeah. So for 2 days, he was overwhelmed with this, well, not like feeling, but with the knowledge that he has a brain tumor and he's probably going to die. So he took the time to kind of accept it. Accept that his time was up. And that's crazy, I wouldn't. Everyone kind of says, people don't fear death. People don't, fear, time kind of ending. But like, when you're straight up told you're probably not going to live, you probably won't be able to survive like the next few weeks or something. I just don't know how I'd do. I don't know how I'd react to that. That's just, it's such a changing thing to life. I just don't know. But if we took everything we've just said, I'd want to make sure everything's fulfilled and everything that I've wanted to really do is done. That's kind of that's kind of like the thing, right? There's a bucket list. Everyone does their bucket list before they want to die. They want to make sure, you kind of get the most out of life. And that's really cool. And I hope that everyone continues to want to get the most out of life and continues to spend every moment with maximum effort and constantly pushing. Right? It's really easy to just kind of chill. A lot of the times I like to chill. A lot of times I just like to sit, play games, things to pass the time. To pass the time. Isn't that a weird statement now? Like, dang, I'm wasting that time. But like, hey, it's okay. Because as long as you are enjoying life during that time, you can spend it however you want. And realistically, with most people, living 2 long lives, you have a lot of time left. But it's really interesting to think about. So what if you knew you only had like 22 minutes left? Well, I got to experience this in a game called The Outer Wilds. I have yet to talk about this game. I believe it's still being uploaded on my channel, if not finished uploading on my channel. It is a game unlike any other because it really hammers home the fact that, life is just beautiful, And that while sometimes you might be too late to experience something or too early to experience something, everyone has their own time and everyone can spend it the way they want. If you don't want spoilers for the game, this part of the video you can kind of gloss over. But if you want to, keep kind of hearing it, just kind of a warning there. So essentially, in this game, you are stuck in a time loop, and in this time loop is being reset because the universe is actually being destroyed. Your sun in your galaxy is dying, and once it dies and explodes, you and the technology that's keeping you in the time loop gets destroyed, so the loop resets. And this continues, and you have to go through all these planets to discover why it's dying. And amazingly, after everything, you go through hours and just paragraphs and essays and so many puzzles and hints and clues that lead you to, you want to know, why is it dying? How do I fix it? You come to the big realization that it's just dying. That's just it. Nothing's interfering with the natural order of life. It's just ending. And it was kind of surreal when you figured it out. When you find out, no one's like exploding the sun. No one's, hitting a big reset button. The universe was just dying off. It reached the end. But there's this is where like the fictional part of the game. There's this eye of the universe. This eye of the universe is essentially like the center of it all. Kind of like, the Big Bang. Like this eye essentially just holds the power to making universes. And in your discovery to find out why the universe is dying, you come across this eye, you go into it, and when the universe does inevitably die off and you don't get reset by the time loop, you kind of remake a whole new one. And it's really crazy. And you go through this time loop so many times. You die so many times. Sometimes you fall out of your spaceship. Sometimes you just watch the supernova of the sun. But every time those 22 minutes get reset, you have more time to explore the galaxy, the planets, and see what there is to find. And once you find it all, you get to sit back and enjoy. Sit back and just watch the stars. Once you know what's going to happen. You know? What if you knew how it was going to end? How would you spend it any differently? What if you knew what you were going to do before it ended? How would you think about it, you know? The game goes on just a lot, and you know, it's again another one of those kind of bittersweet moments, kind of like the Honest channel as well, where it's bittersweet because you enjoyed all the videos and you loved everything, but the message was still clear that in the end it would get deleted, and the message was still beautiful, but you're still upset that all the content was gone. And same with this game, where you discover everything, the beauty of life, the beauty of time going forward. You don't like being stuck in a loop. No one wants to be stuck in a time loop, repeating the same thing over and over, never going forward. You want to go forward to see what's next. Everyone wants to continue on, you know? We always talk about time travel, but no one wants to actually, you know, re-experience time. I think what everyone wants to do is just have more time, experience more time, which is why I always say if there was something I could, you know, bring into existence, you know, like a wish or something. This is a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode. I'd love a stopwatch that would stop time, so I could have just more time to experience the life and beauty of it. Now, obviously, I'd do that kind of thing where like, watch it, no side effects, please. I don't want to continue aging, even though I stop time. That'd be a little weird. I don't want my birthday to kind of get out of whack, and then my zodiac signs will change. You know how it all is. Obviously, that can't happen, and obviously, you can't stop time. It's moving. It's continuing to move, and it will keep going. But these things this year have really just kind of got to me to really know a lot about time and how people interact with it in different ways. People savor every moment and put 100% effort into doing so many things because they know that time can run out. But some people kind of relax. Some people realize, that time is going, but it's kind of slow and, it takes a while. So I could play a little more video games. I could watch some more shows, enjoy myself. Obviously you can, and you should. I'm not making this video to freaking get people worried that they're going to die like tomorrow and your time's up, and I'm just putting it all in perspective, which can seem crazy. You're like, what? Come on. But, we don't know how much time. And my friend who just had that, that tumor, well, it ended up being a very faint one and being able to go away. He was ready. And I guess I have been ready in the past as well. Kind of going through the topics here, there's one topic that I didn't really know how to kind of really extend into a really long video, but I think it'd be good to put it in here because we're talking about it, because time is, you're not sure. So in my life, I've had 2 near-death experiences. Now, one of them, I am not aware of what the event was because I was not old enough to remember. But the second one I was. I'll talk about the first one briefly because, again, I don't know it too much. But the story goes that It was kind of my extended family. We're staying at a hotel. The details aren't too important, but I believe my mom was in the bathroom, and we were kind of out on like a patio area, like outside the hotel, like all the tables and stuff. And I was just kind of walking around as my baby little self at like 2 years old. And somehow, some way, I was able to walk onto the street, and there was don't know exactly what, but a decently sized truck, kind of full speed, not really paying attention. And eyewitnesses say that it was pretty much everyone else except my mom. Eyewitnesses say that my dad pretty much ran faster than anyone has ever seen him run in his entire life, and he was able to, kind of slam his body into the truck, and from the side, of course, kind of just doing a little big bump into it that would make him kind of slow down or kind of drift way to the left, so I would be fine. Again, I do not know the whole story, but that is an experience that I've technically had, even though I have never in myself experienced it. The second near-death experience is one that I was able to tell a tale for. I was about 14, 15 years old. I was in Hawaii. It was at a resort, and this resort had a specific ride. It was like a blow-up type of tube ride, ones that you kind of people can kind of set up at different areas of the resort. You don't have to, it's not like a slide. And this tube is like a fish bowl. It's essentially a big, giant inner tube, and that it's connected to motors, and it spins. It is actually called the fishbowl, I believe. So I think you can look it up, like Maui fishbowl or something. I think that does work. My internet's really bad. Sorry. But I believe it actually is called the Maui fishbowl. It's connected to motors, and at the bottom is water. There's like it's not fully water. It's like a little bit of water kind of at the bottom, just kind of there. So essentially what it is it's like an infinite slide. The motor will continue to turn, and you're at the bottom, and you get in for the zipper, and there's water at the bottom, and you're pretty much constantly sliding as the fishbowl is moving. Now, for someone like me, people know this. I am tall. I am very tall. So it's a little, it's not, I was still able to ride it at the time. I was at the age range, but it's just like I was a tall person. And at the time, I also had just put on sunscreen. Had just put on sunscreen. I didn't know if this affected it, but I'm kind of going to put that part in. So what happens, I've ridden this ride before, so I knew what to experience with it, but it was a while back. So this is a big chunk of time apart from the last time I rode it to this time, so I got a lot taller. So the ride was starting, it gets really slow, and obviously, you do a thumbs up if you want to go faster. Obviously, you want it to go faster. So I was just like, oh yeah, start it up. But then when it got faster, I realized I was kind of like drifting up near the side of the ball, and then kind of sliding back down. And that was probably both because I was just tall and my feet were kind of like, I was kind of like a hard plank in this ball that was getting stuck to like the walls, but also because of the sunscreen. But it was at first I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. It's like I can get an additional bit of sliding in this infinite slide. So I kept turning it up to, speed up. And I kept doing this kind of getting stuck to the wall and kind of sliding back down. And just no idea. From one point, I was like gonna, kind of slide up the tube. And the next part I remember, I was pretty much at the ceiling of this giant inner tube, and all I remember then is I obviously fell off of the roof, and it's a big tube. It's the height of me, like 6 feet. Landed on the tube, pretty much right on my neck, and I was like white. I had to strain to myself to like stop the ride. I had to get out. I was very struggling to breathe, and I kind of just had to sit on like a lawn chair for pretty much 1 to 2 hours, just kind of breathing in and out slowly. I ended up being fine, and obviously we didn't do any like charges to like the fishbowl. Come on, but we didn't ride that thing again, and that was kind of it after that. Oh, I gotta get out of my story time mode, but I remember kind of that feeling so vividly. It's I just took a psych thing where it's like traumatic memories. I guess it's not really PTSD, but like it's a memory that is triggered by like the sight, like it's like a flashbang memory kind of thing, where it's like you can picture yourself right there, and I can like picture myself so vividly, seeing myself like my point of view ceiling, looking down at the bottom of the fishbowl, and I'm like about to face plant head or neck first onto it. And I remember like a good chunk of kind of life just kind of flashing in my face, and you don't really know how do you explain like your life flashing before your eyes. It just kind of happens. But those were 2 moments that I kind of thought for a moment that my time was up. Only one of them I really got to experience, but the point still stands that there's a lot of times in life that day might be our final day. You go to bed every night, and you don't know that tomorrow, the day you wake up, might be your last. And that's kind of what's crazy about it, We wake up every day as a normal day, and then suddenly life changes. And that's just wild, That's just so weird to think about. And a lot of times, people are just always worried about it. But you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be always worried, because then you can't truly experience life. You can't truly live if you're constantly focused on the ticking clock. For the Unis Honest channel that deleted themselves, they, obviously they had 2 weeks of videos kind of dedicated to the channel, looking back at it. But in the end, they didn't do any spectacular build up to it. Every video, every day of the new upload was just like any other. Just another video at 3 p.m. Eastern. On the last day, they did a live stream, and at the last moment of the live stream, it just got deleted. They knew how much time was left on that channel, yet they still went out and did amazing things. And that's what's so important about it, is that we, obviously time's going to keep moving, and we're going to keep focusing in on it. That doesn't mean we should continue to do amazing things and continue to live to the fullest. Because then you'll look and you'll be at the end of the time. You'll broken out of that time loop that you feel like you've been kind of living the same thing. And you'll just be able to sit back and look back on life and what you've done with it. And you think to yourself, yeah, I did a pretty freaking banging awesome job. And that is the best. And I know that everyone, and I will believe that everyone will achieve that. Because I believe in you guys. Of course. Why would I not? Come on. What am I here for? Not to freaking cheer you guys on. To do some amazing things. So. Moral story. Time is going to keep going. But so are we. We're going to keep doing more and more, building epic things, and we're not going to let time get the best of us. Even if we don't have enough time, we will continue to crush the amount of time we have left with amazing things, right? So time won't get the best of me. I know it won't. Because with me already thinking about it and already knowing, I've already beaten it. Kind of. I'm still working on it, but that's kind of all we are doing here, really, aren't we? And before we get to the end here, I want to go ahead and shoehorn in a little bit of future me. I think if you guys could tell by the language, this is a little bit of an older recorded episode. Again, this is back in 2020 era, but all the messages here still stand. I was kind of a little questioning of when I wanted to make this episode and put it out there, and there's a lot of times I was just busy and couldn't get the episode out. But now I think this is a good time for you guys to kind of hear what I had to say. And a lot of the points still stand, a lot of the awesome stuff is still happening. And now that the Outer Wilds series is officially over, I feel like it's even a better time, haha, no pun intended, except it's totally intended, for me to just kind of talk to you guys about it all. And actually, in between the third and fourth episode of Clean's Chats, Vsauce made a video talking about all the paradoxes and the confusions and just like all these syndromes that happen because of time, how it seems to go faster and slower at the same time, how it seems that how a lot of the time we feel like we are the main protagonist of the universe, how we feel like a lot of things happen because of the time that we affect. So that is actually a really cool video that I might link in the description, or you guys could check out. I think it's really cool. And again, the Outer Wilds series is over, so I would also recommend finally giving it a watch if you haven't yet. So again, that's all from me. Let's get back to 2020 me, and let's close out this episode. Again, thank you all so much for the support on these episodes. Hopefully we can get some new ones coming soon. All right. With that, boys and girls and others, thank you for being here with me as we talk about this a little bit of an existential video and topic. And I didn't know I'd be ending up shoehorning in the near-death experiences, but it kind of works out. So live life to the fullest, you know. Life is scary. Life is crazy, but we are the makers of our own lives, and we control. Time is going to keep moving, but we control what we do with our time, and that is the key. So with that, boys, go out there and do some amazing things, and then look back and enjoy it all. Maybe relax. You have quite a bit of time, right? So thank you everybody so much for watching. If you enjoyed listening and watching, and let me know down in the comments. I mean, if you want, you can talk about some things about time. And if you have a near-death experience, I would love to hear any of you guys' inputs on that. I think that would be the coolest part. You don't have to say anything publicly, but whatever you are interested in saying, I'd love to hear it, honestly. So with that, everyone, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Clean's Chats. My name has been Cleanfel or Zach. Y'all have an amazing day. Take care.